Welcome back everyone to another amazing video. This time we're going to be doing a tier list for Avatar Legends. Yes, it's about time to give my opinion on this lovely game. To start off with, once again, I feel like to start off with, I really want to highlight that we just came off of CEO 2026. I hadn't actually done a tier list on the launch because, one, it's a launch game. We don't have ranked also at the same time. And I didn't want to give like early opinions, especially going into CEO. I really wanted to give an opportunity to see how the meta was fleshed out, how people are actually playing the game. And so with that being said, I was like, okay, I watched CEO. It happened. All this jazz. Now, let's see where everybody is actually slated for inside this tier list. So now that we actually have a pro circuit announced, let's go ahead and give our opinions, right? Like, let's do it. So first, I am going to actually talk about Aang. So with Aang, as I even commentated some of the matches and I saw like Scrot play, I really like Aang because he has these win conditions that make him extremely good, right? Like, it's a high-low mix-up that you have to hold on to. You really have to be able to meet Aang halfway. But that's the thing, right? A lot of characters in the cast have a lot of options to, at least the stronger side of the cast, to really be able to stop Aang from starting any type of like momentum or even trying to get away with some of the stuff that he does during win current. You know, when I was watching him play in the tournament, I saw characters like Tooff, Azula, even in an extent too, right? Like Zahir being that better airbender, better cross-up machine than Aang. And it's just one of those things where it's like, Aang's a really good character, but I feel like when we talk about where he fits across the other side of the rest of the cast, he's just really good, but not enough to be broken or be able to do mindless combos or mindless tool sets. You know, I feel like when you pick up Aang, you have to really be able to execute and you have to open up people. If not, it's going to be really difficult. He does have a really good level forward so that you have that hard knockdowns, like actual situation. But, you know, you still have to build up to that and you still have to be able to really catch your opponent off guard, which is what I was seeing quite a lot happen during the weekend. We saw Aang players and, you know, they have the moves, they had the great execution, just not enough of the offensive that you need to really make people say, okay, hold up, I got to hold block instead of flow, or I got to be able to hold block and not actually, you know, press a button. So with that being said, I do put Aang in the A tier. Kora's been a really cool discussion. Kora did actually do pretty well and reached top 8 at CEO 2026. Shout out to Doza. I do feel like with Kora, she's also really good. She has something that I think is so unique but also so important if you have to be the character that has to spend so much flow and spend so much bar, right? A lot of what she needs to do to be able to get all the elements so that she can reach the avatar state relies on her having to spend so much flow. You know, she's like a high damage machine, but also it costs a lot to keep that machine going. The fact that she can actually use her ult and enter avatar state to be able to kind of like reset that is really good. And I actually really feel that as a character, I would definitely place her like in the top 5 side of things. So I do think she's an S tier character. She's always been an S tier character, but I feel like it's a different form, right? In the alphas and betas, she was more so like just nonstop damage machine. Is like you kind of had to like hold all of these plus frames. Whereas here, she's still kind of doing that, but where I think it's more useful is again the fact that she has that avalanche momentum that just makes you feel like, whoa, I really need to find a way to kind of like lock Kora down. But also that means slowing her down rather than trying to like actually prevent her from getting damaged. Like it's more so of, hey, let me go ahead and slow her pace. And then while she's slowing her pace, being able to actually countermeasure and really stop her from doing the air, punishing her where it matters. So I do think Kora is top 5. I think she's in that 5th spot, personally speaking. Qatara. So Qatara is definitely up there as one of the strong technical characters. And I say technical because those stance cancels are really hard to do. And what we were seeing in CEO was so good. One Qatara in top 8, but that is honestly because she's such a high execution character that it's not easy to just pick up and be like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and be able to, beat everybody's butt basically with Qatara. I think with Qatara, you really have to understand how her momentum works. When she hits like a truck, but it's also how you try to maneuver and utilize her ice crawl to be able to actually really cement where you are in the positioning of her, right? So I think with Qatara, when you look at how she plays and how she really has those long ranges to work with, and depending on which character or variation she's on, I would definitely say Qatara is one of those characters that she's definitely above Kora. I would definitely say she's a top 5 character for sure. So I'm going to put her in S tier. Saka, okay, hang on. I'm going to change D tier for like Honda Civic, all right? The reason I'm going to do that is because that player literally made Saka look so broken. And my thing is that like, I feel like if you're the certain type of player that Honda Civic is, then yes, this character is top 5. But if you're not playing this character the way that Honda Civic's playing and having like Boomerang all over the screen, constantly putting pressure, I just feel like this is a character that truly can change based on the player. Like based on the tier list on this tier list that I'm making, Sokka's placement can either be really trash or it's based on the placement of how good a player is. So I will say that when it comes to Saka, definitely after this weekend, I know he can be annoying, but I really want to point out that he's that goof character that can be really good, but also really bad depending on how you want to use them. Again, Boomerang does a really good job, but we saw Honda Civic really keep in check all the time so that he was able to catch the boomerang or bring back the boomerang. It helps a lot too that the version with Yui just allows Sokka to get that back. So yeah, I really feel like that has to be a tier on his own, right? Tooff. So Tooff, I'm actually putting up here, and I actually feel like Tooff is definitely top 2. Why? Because she has such a great air-to-air, and then she has that 5C button. I feel like Tooff is the character that really stops people from making bad habits, but that's where she, like, if you spend enough time fighting Tooff, she doesn't feel like that. But you have to be, like, perfect against Tooff. And with Tooff, she could just do whatever she wants, right? Like, we saw multiple times where some people got steamrolled by her, and then we didn't see that happen. We saw people really play patiently. I think with Tooff, what makes her so strong, again, is that she forces you to play this game the way that it's meant to be played, right? She forces you to actually say, hey, you gotta be able to actually block, punish me appropriately, stop mashing, stop trying to jump in. That's what we're gonna do. So I actually put Tooff up in S tier here. Zuko, I would also say, is kind of like Sokka in the sense that it depends on the player that really resonates, but I do think he's an A tier. I think that when it comes to Zuko, he's that honest character. He's truly the honest character of this game, but when you make him work, it works. His parry's really good. He builds up, of course, on that redemption meter, so that's going to help out with a lot of his strings, but it's so reliant on that you need to get your offensive going, right? So his exact win condition is so reliant on that meter resource and meter buildup that he doesn't get to have that opportunity if he's playing, like, for example, a Tooff, right? Or a Qatara. So I think one thing with Zuko is that, like, he's a silent killer right now. but he's kind of like Aang. Unless you're super good at developing that win condition, it's going to be a very tough time. And I think he's on the weaker side than compared to like the alphas and when we last saw him. Azula. I'm actually going to put Azula after Tooff. I do think that she is, I'm actually going to say too that Qatara is better. And the reason I'm going to say that is because right now a lot of people are using mostly Azula unfocused, but her focused mode is just as good. I think as an overall character, she's a really sick and really strong character. And I think the reason we see more people play her is not so much because of her tools. Her jump C is really good. Her damage is pretty good. Her setups are pretty good. I think it's just more so that people really like this character, like how she just feels, how she plays. And I think that that's why we see so much of her, right? So I do want to say that Azula is definitely there. She's not as good as Qatara because I do feel that Qatara in the right hands is way more potent than Azula. And that's just my opinion. That's where I kind of would argue. I know when it comes to Azula and Tooff, that matchup is ass. Again, because Tooff can literally anti-air. And that's where the weakness comes for Azula, right? Like, you have to be able to move around in the air, be able to actually establish momentum, establish pressure. And you can't do that with Tooff. So there's no way that, like, Azula right now is better than Tooff. But she's definitely within the top 5 for sure. Ozai. I'm going to be honest, other than Coach Steve, I actually think Ozai is kind of like down here. I think something's missing about Ozai, and I don't know if it's because he's the grappler of the game, and maybe I just need to see where he goes with it. But I think that one thing I saw from Coach Steve's match, even though he won, it was trying to get those lariats and really make hard, committed decisions. Again, grapplers are known to do that, right? They are known to make those hard decisions. But I feel like when you're in this game, and again, it goes back to what we were talking about, like with Zuko, with Aang, you have to commit to a button and to a situation, and you don't have, even on knockdown, you have to establish that fear, and Ozai just doesn't do that for me. So I think that right now he's definitely on the weaker side of the cast for sure. Zahir, top 1. He won CEO 26. I don't want to hear nobody. I said he was broken on the trailer release. Okay? Y'all argued with me. All right? Guess what? He won CEO 2026. All right? I knew. You want to talk about a crazy, like, honestly, I feel like if you play Aang, you just want to be like, you want to have fun. But if you want to win, you're going to pick Zahir. He's already cheating, right? He's already cheating with the with the cross-ups, with the 3v1. Pali assist is goated, right? What about it? You know what I'm saying? Okay, this next one, I'm gonna take the heat for it. It's fine. I'm not like I'm at peace. Okay. I am gonna put Kyoshi outside of top 5. All right, I hear the comments now. At least I put her in S tier. Okay, if it was up to me, I would put her in A tier. But I'm gonna, in all my years of learning how to do tier lists, I'm gonna behave. Okay, I am gonna put Kyoshi in S tier. Why am I putting Kyoshi in S tier though? And why she's not top 5 in my opinion? Y'all need to lab. I think Kyoshi is getting away with a lot of BS. This is not me downplaying. This is the analytical Saki trying to talk to you guys, trying to have a conversation, okay? I think that Kyoshi is a character that she's strong, but if she needs to have that momentum and that first hit, if you can bait out like her stand B, her attempt to get to like 5C, 2C is actually punishable. It's about -14 frames. It's just a really hard punish. Okay. also you have to be able to like call it out and make those hard reads. But I promise you that Kiyoshi is not as a scary character as a lot of people, or rather, as a lot of people went through this weekend and made it seem. So again, I do think that Kiyoshi strong, but she's beatable. And right now she's in S tier simply because people don't know how to really counter her. And I do feel like they're going to normalize her and she's going to drop down a tier. But right now, this is where I feel like she's at. That's all I'm going to say. Avatar Aang, I haven't seen a lot of this character, but I feel like he would fall under... it's crazy. I don't know where to really put Avatar Aang. Like, I feel like he's on that C tier as well, because nobody's really picking him up like that. And if you're going to play this, just play Aang, in a sense, is what I've kind of seen. So this one, I'm not too sure of. I'm going to admit it. I don't really see a lot of Avatar Aangs. There wasn't a lot happening throughout the CEO 2026 streams and stuff. I'm going to need to study that character more to really be able to tell you guys. Nightmare Kora, ass. That's it. Nightmare Kora's ass. I feel bad. The chip is great, but she's ass. Like, there's no way to get in without that teleport. She's so hard to like commit to as far as like when it comes to trying to open up. And then more than anything, it's just a tough time, man. It's just a really tough time. Anywho, this is my CEO 2026 post tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please be nice to me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.